ideally for muscle growth, you want to put the muscle under tension for a longer period of time. The longer the muscle's under tension, the more the fibers in that muscle is feeling that stretch. The more muscles are being hit, the better it is for that muscle growth. Muscle without stress, here's how. In today's video, I'm gonna go over 5 things that you need to do to build muscle without stress. I know we all wanna build muscle, build that beach body that we see all over social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube from time to time, and we wanna have the best version of that for ourselves. But we often have moments where we're trying to build muscle and it could be too much on our heart, it could be too much stress on our body, and you get to this place where you can be thinking, building muscle isn't for me, it's not something that I'm gonna be able to make work or figure out, but there's a way to do it while keeping your body and your heart safe. The 5 things I'm gonna go over in today's video is controlled reps, rest and reserve training, full body sessions, 48-hour recoveries, and walking for blood flow. So first, looking at controlled reps. I know if you have worked out before that you've seen people do this. I'm not sure if you've done this yourself, whether it's just getting the weight and you're just popping it up. You're using so much momentum and everything else. You're just so worried about just getting the weight up, doing a rep, not really getting it in a efficient manner, right? We're not gonna build muscle that way. You're actually putting yourself in a risk of injury doing things that way. You might be building strength, but then there's always that question of how much is this really my strength and me lifting this, or how much is the momentum and just the fact that I was able to get it off me and not die because I had this heavy ass weight on me. What we want to do is we want to lift at control. And if whatever weight you're doing is too heavy for you to lift in a controlled fashion, then you need to drop your ego and lower the weight. When lifting with control, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to lift fast or lift at an extremely slow tempo, but it's the fact that you have, the word says, control over the weight as you're moving it around. And if you're not in this state of fear of, am I gonna lose control of the weight? Is the weight gonna drop on me? It can be very simple in a bench or a push exercise where it doesn't have to be, like I said, this slow movement where you're feeling the stretch, but just making sure that we're in control while we're doing the whole movement and that we're getting that full range of motion and not just relying on that extra bounce off of ourselves to get the weight up. Same with a squat where I see people not getting full range of motion, not hitting depth, getting to a place where they know they can get back up. But ideally for muscle growth, you want to put the muscle under tension for a longer period of time. The longer the muscle's under tension, the more the fibers in that muscle is feeling that stretch. The more muscles are being hit, the better it is for that muscle growth. Reps and reserve training. You don't want to train till failure. Training till failure can leave this vague number of how many reps am I supposed to do. You can just do a weight. Let's say you're curling 10 pounds and you curl it 30 times. The fact that you curled it 30 times doesn't necessarily mean you curled it till failure. You can end up stopping with many reps in reserve, somewhere between 8 and 10. So you want to think of training with reps in reserve to thinking you're right before that breaking point. You want to look at training where you have a few reps in reserve compared to that 8, maybe 2 or 3 reps in reserve, sometimes 1. You're not pushing and doing all type of rocking and just jerking to get the weight up. You want to make sure you have control of the motion you're doing. If you're doing a curl and you're curling, you're in control the whole time. It's the bicep that's moving the weight, right? We're not jerking our back and doing all type of weird side to side move. If we're doing that, we're past that point of failure. We need to start looking at ending the set, especially if we're training by ourselves and we don't have a way to go past failure safely by ourselves. Reps in reserve training not only avoids injury that you get from training to failure, but they're practically the same as far as building strength and building muscle. There isn't much of a difference that is seen when you train to failure. The only difference is you're increasing that risk of injury. Full body sessions. You can do a full body session and target a lot of things you need to get done and still have gotten the workout in a good timely manner, not having to spend hours at the gym. So that requires doing a lot of compound movements, compound exercises where we're hitting a lot of things at once. For example, that can be looking at doing a squat where we're hitting our hamstrings, we're hitting our glutes, we're hitting our quads, and doing a bent over row where we're hitting our lats, our lower back, and then finishing off with 2 more exercises that can be a bench where it's chest, your tri, a little bit of shoulders, and a pressing movement, a pull-up or lat pull-downs, a pull-up where you're hitting your upper back, part of your scapula, shoulders depending on how you're doing the pull-up, and then switch it around the other days that you're going to work out, whether you're going to do a workout for 2 more days after that or 3, then you can add in accessories if you want to focus more on your arms one day, or do something that focuses more on the hamstrings instead of hitting hamstrings and glutes. You give that flexibility when doing the full body session. You could put in a little bit more attention to one place over the other instead of having to go into the gym 5 days, 6 days out of the week, because you're targeting these small muscles and spending hours doing so. We have to take advantage of the time we have. Everyone doesn't have all the time to lift all day. I wish I did, but I simply don't. We have to use our time wisely. 48-hour recovery. There are plenty of you who probably don't recover at all. I used to be like that. I would just go to the gym every day, balls to the wall, just working out. And that doesn't help our muscle build. Yes, we want to tear down our muscle so it can build, but it also needs room to repair, to grow. If we're not giving our muscle that chance to prepare and grow, we're not going to see the work that we put in and how much it can build. We're just tearing down. If you went and you were working on a house project, you're not just going to keep tearing down walls. You're going to tear down the wall. You're going to give yourself time to build up a new and better wall, or build up whatever you're working on, before you just keep tearing things down. We have to think of our body the same way. It needs that room to grow. It needs that opportunity to grow. So let's give it that chance so we can build the muscle that we're trying to see. And 48 hours is great, especially when doing full body. And if we're doing it with high intensity, we're giving our body more chance to rest and recover so we can go back in and target these muscles and do it better and get a great workout again, compared to if we only give ourselves a day, or if we're not resting at all, these muscles are still sore. We're not able to strengthen and work on them as the best way possible. And if we are just pushing through whatever pain that we're feeling when we're working out, again, that injury factor. So you decided to not miss a day or 2 days to recover. Now you have to miss weeks and months because you couldn't just give yourself that time to rest. Weeks and months is not worth 2 days. And final, walking for blood flow. Walking is so important with building muscle, because when we do a lot of high intensity aspects of cardio, like running for distance, you don't see many distant runners with these huge, gigantic muscles. Long endurance cardio is not built for that. It will eat away at your muscles. So walking is going to be great, not only for, as I've mentioned plenty times in other videos, getting us into that fat burning stage, that zone 2 cardio, being in there for 30 minutes and burning fat all day, which will help the muscle. It also helps with blood flow and circulating through the body. Since our fat is burning, our blood flow is going to be moving and working consistently at a rate that's going to help our muscles, will help the flow of things that are helping build our muscles move throughout the body, get where they need to be, compared to when we're doing things like distance running 5K, 3Ks or whatever. We're not seeing that growth. We may get stronger 100%, but we're not going to see the growth in the muscles that we're looking for. It is possible to build muscle without putting a lot of stress on our body and our heart. We need to start doing things the smart way and not the hard way, and we can watch the growth come quicker than you ever imagined. Till next time.